Today, I want to talk to you about pelvic floor dysfunction. And this may be something that you've never heard of, and that's okay because it is oftentimes a little known area of the body that can be very problematic and have some far reaching consequences of symptoms and issues that you didn't even know could be linked to your pelvic floor. So first and foremost, what is the pelvic floor? You've heard me talk about it in the past if you've watched our previous lives, but we all have a pelvis, and at the very bottom of the pelvis is a group of muscles called our pelvic floor muscles. So there's a superficial layer of pelvic floor muscles, and there's a deeper layer of pelvic floor muscles. And they all form a bowl on the bottom of our pelvis. And just like muscles anywhere else in our body, they can have some issues. They can be too tight, too weak. They can be strained. They can not coordinate together. They can be the source of pain, either close by to the muscles or a little bit further away. So these pelvic floor muscles can be symptomatic in lots of different areas. And so unfortunately, it can sometimes be hard to figure out if you are dealing with pelvic floor dysfunction. So if you're having symptoms or issues in and around the pelvic area, it can be challenging to figure out where they may be coming from. So today I wanted to talk about a screening tool that a colleague, another women's health physical therapist, Nicole Cozine, had created called the Cozine Pelvic Dysfunction Screening. And it is a wonderful questionnaire that you can do to figure out if you may be dealing with pelvic floor dysfunction. So I will share the screening form. If you think it's something that you want to see, go ahead and in the comments below, just put screening, and I will get that form to you so you can take a look at. But we're going to go through it today, and we're going to talk about some of the questions. So they're all yes/no questions, and basically what you want to do is tally up how many yeses you have. And if you have 3 or more yeses, then there is a high likelihood that you have some pelvic floor dysfunction, and you may benefit from talking to your healthcare provider or working with a pelvic physical therapist in regards to those issues. So what are these yes/no questions? So the first one is, and I'm going to make sure I get them correct, so I'm going to put it in front of me here, so you may see me looking at the sheet here, but is, do you ever have pelvic pain? And pelvic pain can be pain in the genitals, the perineum area, the pubic bone, the bladder, or with urination. If you ever have pelvic pain that exceeds a 3 on a 1 to 10 scale, where 10 is the worst imaginable, then you want to circle yes. Any type of pain in this area may be a signal that you're dealing with pelvic floor dysfunction. All right, second question is, have you ever had any falls onto your tailbone, low back, or buttocks area, even if they were a long, long time ago that you remember? So, were you sledding when you were a kid and took a fall off of the sled and landed hard on your tailbone? Or, were you ice skating last week? Well, hopefully not last week, it's pretty warm out here, but ice skating and fell and landed on your buttocks. So, yes or no? Question number 3, have you ever experienced any of these urinary symptoms? So, accidental loss of urine with coughing, laughing, sneezing, or exercise. Accidental loss of urine with a strong, uncontrollable urge. So got the urge to go and you didn't make it there in time. So feeling like you can't empty your bladder completely. Or voiding your bladder and then going again within a few minutes later. Pain or burning with urination. Difficulty starting urination, or frequent stopping and starting of the urine stream. So if you experience any of those urine symptoms, even if it's only been very periodically, give yourself a yes. All right. All right. Question number 4. Do you often or occasionally have to get up at night to urinate 2 or more times a night? If you answer yes, then we circle our yes there. Okay. Question number 5. Do you ever have a feeling of increased pelvic pressure or a sensation that your pelvic organs are slipping down or falling out? Yes or no? All right, question 6. Do you have a history of any of these orthopedic pain conditions? low back pain, hip pain, sciatica, groin pain, or tailbone pain. Remember, these may be a sign that you are dealing with pelvic floor dysfunction, especially if you sought treatment for these and you haven't seen any improvement in your symptoms. It may be that they're missing part of the puzzle if they did not evaluate the pelvic floor. All right, next question. Do you ever experience any of the following bowel symptoms? So loss of bowel control with cough, laugh, or sneeze. Loss of bowel control with a strong, uncontrollable urge, feeling that you can't completely empty your bowels, experiencing increased pain with the bowel movement, frequently having to strain to have a bowel movement, or having difficulty initiating a bowel movement. If you answered yes to any of those, even if it's only sporadically, then that's a yes. So, all right, we got 3 more questions on this pelvic dysfunction screening form. So, do you ever experience pain or discomfort with sexual activity or intercourse? The answer is yes. Then we got a circular yes there. Next question, does sexual activity increase any of your symptoms? And the final question, does prolonged sitting increase any of your symptoms? So there you have it, the Cozine Pelvic Dysfunction Screening Tool. And like I said at the beginning, if you answered yes to any of these questions, you want to keep track of how many yeses. So in and of themselves, 1 yes here or there doesn't necessarily mean that you have pelvic dysfunction. But if you have 3 or more yeses, then there's a high likelihood that you are dealing with pelvic floor dysfunction. And you may benefit from talking with a women's health or pelvic physical therapist to see what's going on and to try and evaluate what might need to happen to make sure that you are not having to deal with these symptoms and issues. So, like I said at the beginning, if you'd like a copy of the full screening, just comment screening in the comments below and I'll make sure to get them to you. But hopefully this is a quick and easy way for you to screen to see if you are dealing with pelvic dysfunction and can help point you in the right direction.